And everybody, is Tim Reazor with Revere Asset Management, just after 6 o'clock here on a Wednesday night. So quickly, stock numbers, market levels. We're going to talk about Tesla. I want to talk about PayPal. I want to talk about Upstart. I want to talk about Coin. I want to talk about CMG, which is my favorite stock in the whole wide world. Talk about Apple. Talk about Beyond. Talk about the banks. But before we do all of that, I'm going to talk about interest rates too. And I think the best way to trade crypto, Ethereum and the Bitcoin in particular. But before we do any of that, listen, if you have any questions, concerns, comments, you take umbrage with anything that I'm saying, I have to hit me up here right here. Tim@revereasset.com, 855-732-5932. Now listen, I want to talk to the folks that make decisions in the portfolios. What's on the watch list? What they buy, what they sell, how they buy, how they sell, what they're thinking. What separates us here at Revere Asset from every other strip mall advisor is that you have access to the people executing the strategy. It's 100% true. Yeah, we're going to maybe tomorrow we'll get to it. There's I mean, how many of you have like 20, 25 mutual funds in a portfolio that somebody set up for you? It's ridiculous. We'll talk about that. But it's all about plausible deniability at stripmalladvisor.com, where they put you in all these mutual funds. You don't like the performance of the mutual funds. They fire the mutual fund managers. They don't fire anybody. They just sell it for you and they put you in some other crappy mutual fund. So listen, even if you're not a client, you want to talk to the people making decisions. Email, call, do whatever you want to do. America's fiduciary right here. Listen, Danny Stewart he's listening to the radio today on the drive from an appointment. And Danny is like the person on the radio that gets you out of a timeshare, except he does it for people in really bad annuities who were sold a bill of goods about life insurance that just isn't true. Life insurance is not an investment, it's insurance. So if you want to talk to Danny about all that and what that means, 855-732-5932. Danny will help you whether you're a client or not, because our job here at Revere is to empower all investors to hopefully we get better together. So with that, and then you know what I'm going to do here? I want to just tease this a little bit here. I talked about this all the way back on September 29th. This is where to short the market next. That happened. And then these bullish watch list ideas, which is where the crypto ideas came from. And we'll get there in a moment. But look, there's a group of folks, they're just like you, stock nerds and market lovers, that discuss the content that we produce here at Revere, and they do it in something called IPO Club. More than happy to introduce you to the fellows that run IPO Club. It's not, you don't join, like you join it, right, through Zoom, but you get updates. It's just a community. It's not really formal. It's kind of formal, not formal. But all they're doing is helping each other get better. They're the nicest people in the world. That's important. They help each other learn and grow, and they draw from each other, and it's just awesome. And they're discussing the content and making it better, and talking about things that we don't even talk about here at Revere. And I think you'll really like it if you're looking for an outlet to get more, not just more content about markets and stocks, actually useful information. That's the difference right there. At TJ Reazor, you can get a hold of me on email. You can get me on Twitter. I'll introduce you to Mark from Buffalo, Captain Dan, Coach, the whole crew. And there's a bunch of people in there willing and just waiting to help you grow as they're willing and wanting to grow too. So it's called IPO Club. It's just an extension of what we do at Revere. Great community folks, and I really think that if you're looking for more, you will absolutely positively find there. Let's talk real quick stocks, because I know down day in the market it's unheard of, right? We don't have those, right? But no, we do. And so what should you expect? So I've done a class on this a number of times in my life. I haven't done it recently, but let me just show you what I expect. So you've closed right here. You've closed below the 8, okay? Now that opens the door to the 21. Are you going to get to the 21? Is the 21 going to come to fruition? 21 is all the way down here at 4,500, well, 4,586. So that's that. Let's just use big round numbers. That's almost 100 points away. Absolutely positive it can happen. That would be very healthy for the market. I don't know if it's going to get there, and I'm not going to guess either. But what do I know about uptrending, about just uptrends, which is what we've experienced from this low to this high, is that the market typically takes back about 50% of the gain. So where would that be? Well, here's the high to a recent low, and believe it, which is close enough for government work here. I think, did I lock it? Am I not able to lock it? Okay, there we go. Okay, I tried to lock it and it did not work, but I think, okay, here we go. So that 50% level, I'm sorry, messing up all my charts. So the market takes back typically half of the gain. Where would that put you? That 50% level is all the way down here where? at 45.85 and at the 50-day simple moving average. I find that fascinating because I've studied this. I've gone all the way back to what 98, 99 beyond. And I remember this class I did for this pretty sharp investing group with Danny early on in my time at Revere. And they're like, no, that doesn't happen. I'm like, let's prove it. Let's just go through every uptrend from high to low and what you should expect when the market wants to pause. Yeah, it takes back. It punishes the chasers. That's what it does, right? It punishes the people who have no discipline and chase, which is everybody who starts out investing. And you get beat up a couple of times. You're like, I wonder why the market's doing this to me, taking my money, meaning talking personally here. And I'm like, well, let me just do a study about that. And you realize, oh, when the market has, starts to get these closes below the 8, or even more triggering is a 5 crossing below the 8, 5 exponential cross below the 8 exponential moving average. Yeah, and then you're looking for a stop at the 21. If it breaks the 21, it's probably coming down here. Does it have to do that? No, but it's kind of what I'm expecting. It's kind of the game plan. If you go back through time immemorial, plot SPX. It's a lot easier with SPX. Plot SPX on the daily chart and just do it. Highs to lows, highs to lows, highs to lows, and see what you come up with. You can do it on a weekly chart too. You're going to kind of get the same result. Now let's talk about the Blues Brothers here, okay? The Blues Brothers are the dollar and yields, okay? So that would be Jake and Elwood, DXY and TNX, okay? So dollar had this huge move. You're like, Tim, huge move, Tim, you're a knucklehead. It's only up 1%. That's not a huge move. You want to see a huge move. Look at a firm after hours. That's a huge move, Tim. Well, that is a big move if you want to see it. There's a firm. 133 up at 170. Yeah, it's a pretty big move. But now let's go back to the dollar here. And so this is a breakout, okay? And so this is what I want to tell you about the dollar. If the dollar and rates are moving in tandem, you absolutely positively want to kind of step back from what? Stocks that can't pass on the cost of inputs to consumers, because future earnings get discounted, right? And oftentimes that's tech. And so, and here's what you should know about the dollar. So if we go to the dollar, if the dollar is lurking like it has been, it's a heads up. And it's hard to really time it, but as long as the dollar is above the mean, and the mean here is the 21, is, oh, by the way, we're going to set up these charts here in a moment for you. I had someone write in and I'm going to help them with it. So at the end of this video, if you want to see how to set up this ATR chart, just watch it all the way to the end. So when the dollar is lurking like it has been for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trading sessions above the mean, you got to look for the markets to potentially pull back. And because if it explodes higher, you're going to get caught. So what does that mean? Like sell everything? No, it just means be aware. Maybe you'll lighten up a position or two. If something's weak, you're not holding on to it thinking it'll come back. Like you want to be a little preemptive here. This is a heads up warning. And so you got the catalyst today with the CPI number. And the dollar was already showing strength because it was above the 21, but then you got these rates. Rates actually were manageable until that bond auction this afternoon around 1 o'clock Central, 1300 Central. And so then they just had a huge day up almost 9%. And so, well, what's the problem with the rates going higher and the dollar going higher? Isn't a strong dollar great for consumers? You would think, right? But it makes the companies, the strong dollar makes companies that export a little bit weaker. The yield, the higher rates, though, it makes it's inflationary, and that whole inflationary. I mean, right now, inflation is the highest it's been in 30 years. 8.6% is a monster number, and companies cannot pass on the rising cost of inputs and labor fast enough because your wages aren't going up that quick, right? You know that, and so that spells a whole bunch of trouble, but you don't have to be in trouble. And so that's kind of the story, right? That's the whole reason with these kind of white barish charts. So let's look at this. So like if we just take a real simple example in Tesla, and the white bar, it does have a little bit more than just a 5/8 cross, but the crux of it is a 5/8 cross. You can get a 21, an 821 cross, and it's just signifying momentum. But like the Tesla move here, this is just one chart, and what I want to illustrate, which I talked about with you last week, is just limiting your scope. Like so many people feel overwhelmed by the markets, and I say draw in, wait for your pitch, wait for your setup, right? And so look at this white bar right all the way down here at 706. You had another one somewhere in here and it's not picking it up, but you could buy off the 21 if you wanted to. You don't have to have an 821 cross or an 85 cross, excuse me. You could buy off the 21 if you wanted to. And you can see that Tesla is bouncing off the 21 today after that big sell-off. But what would be like, where would you get out, right? Well, you could get out at this 5-8 cross to the downside, right? But it fell right to the 21 and recovered. What if it just bounces right back? I get it. It's kind of trading, right? But if you rode all the way up to 1200, it's really hard to want to give back a lot of gains. So you could come here to the ATR chart, but the ATR chart, I mean, it just keeps going higher and higher and higher. So I think relying on that 5-8 cross is really helpful to help you harvest some gains. Do you have to sell everything? No, it's what you want, because these videos are for what? Your edification purposes only. They are never, ever meant to be construed as advice, because they're not advice. You know that, I know that. But it makes it difficult when something's just going straight up and you want to participate, but it feels worse when you give back, a lot of your gains, or especially if you're trading calls and options and stuff like that. So let's do something that's a little bit more real. I mean, stocks go up like this a lot. They do, but look at Amazon. This is Amazon from last week. This is the night I had the video, I believe it was last Thursday. And I said, hey, it's a white bar. How's it going to go? I don't know. And I took it out in real time. So if you are just someone who buys 5-8 crosses and you start getting this moving average stack developing, look at this. This is a move from what? 3370 to 3605. Okay, so that's probably what, six-ish, 6.25%, something like that. Are you going to get 6.25%? No, because you're not buying the exact moment and you're not selling the exact top. But is there something you can do to absolutely kind of make this a normal trade? Yeah. Okay, if I get a 5-8 cross here, like I did, maybe you buy a couple of percent, right? Or you buy like one call. You do something that makes you, that's appropriate for you, but then you're going to manage it on what? The ATR chart. You're going to manage this trade on the ATR chart. And so you would say, okay, here's the mean. And when it gets to +2 ATR, which is right there, and what does that +2 ATR represent? Oh, that's where this is important. So if the mean represents the 21 exponential moving average, and then +1 ATR is one of these $90 periods, and +2 ATR is another one of those $90 periods. +3 ATR would be what? 3 of those. It's a visual representation of when something is starting to get stretched. What you want to do is just every day, like a bread and butter, potentially for you, because now I'm describing what works for me. Okay, maybe this does not work for you, and I respect that. But if what I'm describing sounds pretty realistic or pretty, it's kind of low key, something I can handle, well, then you're going to want to pay attention. So you just, you buy here, and what if you sold here? Well, Tim, what if it's a runner like Tesla? Well, why don't you sell half? Or why don't you sell 3/4? Whatever it is that gets you to the sleeping point. Oh, what does sell down to the sleeping point mean? What gets you to sleep at night and not thinking about the profits you should be taking or the losses you should be taking to limit them? And so you can make a living buying 821 crosses, 5-8 crosses, and selling at +2 ATR. Tim, what if it doesn't get to +2 ATR and it stalls out here at 1 ATR? Well, again, let's go back to this chart and tell me what the 5 exponential moving average is doing against the 8. You can see here, it's not crossing down. The 5's not crossing down, but it got to 2 ATR. Is that where the gains are going to stop? I don't know. I mean, it's a market. Anything can happen. I'm not Nostradamus. I mean, this is the part of the market, right? See, a lot of people on TV media that do this, what we do, they all talk over here, right? And now I'm dealing with you in the now. And so, like, what about Tesla? What if you missed that huge Tesla move? And again, nothing we do on these videos is to ever, I can't say this enough to you more. If I was in the house with you right now, or wherever you're watching this video in your car, getting ready for work or working out, This is not advice, folks. I can't say this enough. But look, you reclaim, you so like, what if you missed it? You're like, I'm a disciplined trader, I don't chase, and now you got back to the 21. Huh, that's what I call a setup, right? But now you probably want to see how it behaves. And so I think the mean, the 21 exponential moving average, affords you your best opportunity. Does this system work with other things, Tim? I can hear you from the back yelling it. So let's talk about it. Netflix, what did Netflix do recently? Oh, it had a 5-8 cross. Yeah, sure did. That's 665. Well, that's not that far away. Could it just be basing here? Well, if tech stock, if TNX, I mean, let's just apply some line. If TNX goes higher and inflation is really kind of ramping up still, which we don't know because you're just one report away from normalcy, right? And so, which is another month away. Maybe Netflix's earnings aren't worth as much. Maybe that's what the market might start to be signaling. So I'd probably want to see another card, like if we're playing poker. I need a little bit more information there with Netflix. Oh, Coinbase reported. Now, look at this. Coinbase reported, and you can see here that it's at the 21. So if you've been watching Coin, like, I don't want to chase this. Now, what does it do at the 21? See, and what the beauty of this is, you're out of the debate club. See, I don't think a debate club in stocks works. Is it good? Is it bad? Do they have enough crypto exposure? Too much crypto exposure for Coinbase. Do you like the leader of Coinbase? He said no politics at work. Like, it does, you're out of that game. What does the chart telling you? Okay, it looks like the 5 is crossing down here through the 8. I know if the 5 crosses through the 8, that's signifying a slowing of momentum. And if there's no buyers in the stock, what happens? Price falls. See, the market's in auction. You got to remember that the market's in auction. And so if someone says tomorrow 320 right here, 320 for the price of Coinbase, and nobody raises their hand, what are they gonna do? They go 318. And if nobody raises their hand 318, what are they gonna do? Like 315. Nobody says 315. They're just gonna keep lowering the price till someone raises their hand and says, I'll buy it at 315. Today, they took it down 8% till they found someone to come in, lower than 8%, someone to come in and buy. And we'll say, who would buy it if it's falling that fast? Algorithms. Algorithms buy it? Yeah, they're programmed to buy the 21. Yeah. All right, let's talk some more. Favorite stock, right? CMG. If CMG would just introduce breakfast to their day part, this stock would be worth $1 gazillion. Personal belief. Is it true? No. Well, it could be. Now, but even though I like this and it's off the highs, is this my opportunity? I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe it is, but I see the moving averages aren't stacked. And what do I mean by stacked? I want to see sequential moving averages, a 5, an 8, a 21, a 34, a 50, a 200. And then I want to see, because I know that when you get a 5-8 cross and the moving averages start to expand and they're sequentially aligned, that is explosion time, like they did here. And then when you come down to the 21, like, oh, by the way, you got another 5-8 cross there. But it was marred by earnings. But it's a signal, right? Okay, and so, but now you've got the 50, the 34. This is upside down pineapple cake time. And for me, that's a little muddled. I need to see a little bit clearer picture. So even in your favorite stocks, like you're looking at, or maybe you sold and you want to establish a different position, yeah, you got to exert a little bit of discipline. How about PayPal, right? PYPL. Oops, that's not a chart. PYPL. So PayPal. Was there a signal ahead of time that this thing was just not good? Oh yeah, 5-8 cross. Oh yeah, gap down. Okay. Oh, but it recovered 5-8 cross. You get the point. Let's look at Apple. The API. What's Apple doing here? Ooh, is Apple giving you a 5-8 cross? Not Apple, right? It's not allowed to do that, but it is. BYND, Beyond Meat, which is going beyond the lows of the day off of earnings. And when was Beyond a sell? 5-8 cross at 150. And so, well, what is setting up here? It's interesting with raising rates. Yeah, what you'd expect. Thanks, KRE. Yeah, there's other areas too, KBE. But now I want to take you back. I want to take you back to here, September 29th. Okay, let's look at Bitcoin and let's look at Ethereum. So the viewers, and I'm reminded of this because of some of the people in IPO Club are telling me the signaling that they picked up from the September 29th video. And they're absolutely right. And this is really a game of patience and waiting for your pitch and not feeling the compulsion to trade every move. See, that's the thing. Just because the market's open doesn't mean you have to trade it. And I think that is a huge lesson right there. Because I used to feel that compulsion, but now I don't. Let's see here. Look at this white bar, which signifies what? Yeah, a little volume down there. See, there's a clue. So the white bar has a little volume component. You get a little 5-8 cross, and then boom, away you go. And so that's a really good move, right? And so ETH. Oh, that's Ethereum. Let's look at Bitcoin. BTC. And so here is Bitcoin. So now, what I'm going to do for you, I've got a class that I've taught. I think it's kind of based on what we just talked about. It's the most powerful strategy. It's free. I'm going to put it in the YouTube notes, and you can find YouTube, Revere Asset YouTube channel. Search Revere Asset YouTube, and it will be absolutely positively right there for you to watch. You just click on the link, and you will absolutely find it. But look, even though there's some volume, I didn't get quite a white bar signal there, but it's still a 5-8 cross, which was below 50K. And now you're trading, well, now you're trading what, we'll just round up 65K. So I think you get the idea. Look, tomorrow we're going to do the podcast with Danny, Don, Alex, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Find all of our podcasts right here. We're going to get out a day early, and I'm telling you, the whole negative interest rates are actually trading right now in the United States. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow. I'm going to give you an action plan moving forward. And I know Don's got stuff to talk about with trades that those guys have done, and the 21 list that's coming out this weekend. So with that, stock nerds, market lovers, I can't begin to tell you how much I love doing these videos with you. Sit down with a cup of coffee. It's like I'm talking to an old friend, and we're just talking about what's moving markets today. And hopefully you enjoy it and it makes you just a little bit better. So with that, hope you have a great night, and I will see you at the next update.